Hello everyone. I would like to welcome with us براندي Scott. براندي Scott is the co-host of the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye. Scott's career has seen her running the features desk of a national newspaper, producing Radio New Zealand's flagship breakfast show, appearing as a regular television pundit and writing for numerous magazines and websites. Her debut novel, Not Bad People, recently published by HarperCollins, Moro, is a compelling tale of three Australian women whose impulsive decision to let the illegal Chinese lantern set in motion a series of life-changing events. Welcome, براندي, and it's good to have you among us in Multaqā. I would like to ask you first, from where you get the idea of this book, of this novel?
I got the idea for Not Bad People, which is commercial women's fiction, from a letting go ceremony that a group of friends and I had many, many years ago. I'm a New Zealander. We were at a friend's house and we all wrote down, like a New Year's resolution, something that we wanted to let go of. So bad habits and resentments, cellulite, things that we didn't want in our life anymore. And so we wrote it down and we tied it to the Chinese lanterns, you know, like sky lanterns. You see them in Thailand sometimes. And as they flew away, I thought to myself, I wonder what would happen if they hit something. And that is the premise for the book. In the book there are three friends and they're having a letting go ceremony on New Year's Eve. And they write down the things they want to let go of. But then as the lanterns fly away in the book, there is an explosion they see in the distance. And they think, but lanterns are very, you know, they're all paraffin, they're very flammable. And so they don't worry about it and they go to bed. And then they wake up in the morning to discover that a small plane has crashed and they don't know if they've caused the accident or not.
So three friends decided to lit their lantern and an incident happened. And then what happened? I mean, there's agony of the incident, how they handle it in the book.
Well, that was the fun bit about writing the book, because you have what, if you're writing, you call an engine, as you will know as an author. So you have something that moves the story forward. And that is the accident, because we need to find out if these women caused the plane crash and what will happen to the people in the plane. Very small plane, like a Cessna plane, not a big plane. But at the same time, we discover that they all have secrets and they all have resentments and they all have things that they don't want to come out. But while the pressure is on with trying to find out what happened with this plane crash, they don't always behave the best.
Okay, so we're dealing with psychology here. I mean, each human being has a psychology. How each personality handled the situation.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Because we all look at problems from a different perspective. So how was the handling of the situation?
But that's why you've got these three women and they all handle it very differently because of where they are in their lives. So you have one woman who is in the middle of doing a big business deal, and so she just doesn't want to, you know, she's like, it wasn't us, we didn't cause the accident, stop talking. And you've got another woman who has enough of her own problems that she's just like, you know what, it's the least of my worries right now. But then the third woman, who's called Amy, is convinced that they did it. And like, you know, when someone commits a crime and they keep going back and they keep checking and they keep wanting to know, she gets involved. She gets involved in the investigation. She starts volunteering at the hospital. She cannot leave it alone because she needs to know what's happening. And the more she involves herself, the more at risk all three of them are.
If we need to talk about this novel in general, it talks about friendship. So why you wrote about friendship?
Do you know what really interests me about these three women and their friendship is that they're very, very old friends. They've known each other since they were really small, and I've had a lot of friends that I've known my whole life. And I tend to find that we sometimes treat our oldest friends the worst. You know, with our new friends, we're all on our best behaviour, we dress up for them, we're very polite to them.
We want to impress, but old friends, we take them for granted.
Exactly. We treat our old friends sometimes like they're not going to go anywhere. They're like family. And so these women have known each other for a long time, and they take each other for granted a lot, and I found that really interesting.
Not bad people. From where you get this title, and what's the reason behind it?
Because
why not, for example, why not saying good people?
Because I have a theory when I'm writing that there's no such thing as people who are wholly good or wholly bad unless you're writing about like Disney characters. So everyone can behave badly under pressure and in certain situations. And that's what happens in this book. These three women are not bad people. They're not bad people, but they are put in really tricky situation and they don't always act the best.
So do you mean to say that if somebody acts badly under a pressure, we have to excuse him or excuse her? What happened to our rational thinking? What happened to our education, background? I mean, in this case, there will be no judgment on anybody because we will say he's under bad circumstances.
Oh no, I don't think we excuse it, but I think it helps us to understand it, if that makes any sense. And there certainly is, there are consequences, and that is what happens in a book. People make decisions, and there are consequences for those decisions. And in some parts, these women make very bad decisions, and there are consequences.
Tell us how you get a good deal with this process.
With the writing?
Yes.
The book deal?
Yes.
Do you know what? I've been very fortunate writing this book because it got published almost by accident. Well, not by accident, because I spent a year writing a book. I worked very hard on it. But I had written another book very similar to, Hanari and I found out just before we sat here that we both wrote a book with a really similar theme before. Similar story about going home after living away for a very, very long time and discovering that you...
Like your nostalgia to the place is much nicer than the place itself. You get disappointed from the images you build inside of you versus the reality when you go and face it.
And, you know, it's that going home after living away as an expat for a long time or an immigrant and not being, you're not foreign and you're not local, you're somewhere in between. And we both have written books about this, except she's written about Lebanon and I've written about New Zealand. Yeah, which is fantastic.
So we created a third culture, and this is the theme that Asma put for the Multaqā this year, talking about third culture,
which is
when you're not a New Zealander and you're not Emirati, you are somewhere in between, and this and this in-between thing makes you feel like delusional with time because you cannot settle in your own country and you find a comfort zone here, yet you're not from here and you need to go back. So this dilemma and this agony created by a situation creates something new, and maybe this what brings a novel to life or trigger or ignite an idea that you transfer into a paper.
Which is what, for my first book, exactly, I wrote about. I called it The Repatriates, for people who are being repatriated, and I wrote it because I had gone home to study after 15 years at that stage abroad, and I found it so I thought it was going to be easy to go home. It was so hard. I felt so weird. From silly little things, like they don't sell Tom Ford foundation in New Zealand, and I just used to think, when this runs out, it's all over. But I didn't fit in, but I wasn't foreign, and so people expected me to fit in, and I found it tricky, so I wrote a book about it. And while we were trying to sell, I got an agent, and while we were trying to sell that book, we accidentally sold this book instead, which I hadn't written. So the book that I had written, because I went to university and I did a creative writing master's, that's why I went back to New Zealand, and I wrote a book. And it was edited and workshopped, and it was polished and beautiful. And then the person who was supposed to publish it didn't publish it, and my agent said to me, "Have you got anything else?" And I said, "Well, I've got 2 chapters of something new, but I have, I've just written I think 10,000 words, which is little, not much." And she said, "Well, just show me, because people like to see that you have more than one idea. They like to see that, if they publish the book, then there is more to come." And then she sold the one I hadn't written in like a week, and then I had to write it really fast. So which is great.
Which is amazing. I mean, not many writers have this chance to publish quickly and to go. Did your writing get affected from UAE influence because you lived here as an expatriate? So how much was it influenced in your pages? I mean,
the book that I've published is a very Australian book, so there's not much of the UAE in it, but I found that being here and not being at home has been valuable, because it's mean I've got a really big international deal with America and other countries rather than just being in my home country, which is fortunate. But more than anything else, it gave me the opportunity, because I was earning enough here to go home and study, and save my money and not work for a year while I was studying. It's the job I have has given me the time to write. I'm on the radio, I work in the mornings, and I can write in the afternoons. The one thing I didn't expect was that it's made my language this mix. And when we were editing the book for the Australian market, they kept finding all these words, and they're like, "That's a bit British, I don't know where that's from, that's not," and you become this melting pot of language. So they kept taking out things that that I'd picked up from other people here and there.
Yes, and how was the resolution of the novel?
I'm not going to tell you what happened.
We need to read it. Yes.
You need to read it. I can't tell you what happened.
Of course not. We would like to open the Q&A for public, and to have some questions about...
Is anyone here writing? Does anyone else?
Yes, the big writer, Emirati writer.
Wow.
He's a very important writer.
He is also a journalist and a famous writer. We have Hanan Sayed.
About the
She wrote a book.
anthropology about the people food.
She wrote a book called Table Tales as well, about the relation of food with the culture.
Yeah.
And whom else? We have Dr. Frauka. She left already. Are you a writer?
I have 6 books.
Wow.
We write a book, Risk Collections, 4 called Risk Collections, and 2 political called American Strategy and lots of others. Wow, we have to talk about it.
Also, I have to say that
We publish in
Yes, I know.
13 books.
in الملتقى we have Dr. Hannah also. She translated many novels and she is a professor at Sorbonne. So you have a caliber of ladies. We will open the Q&As.
Can I ask you about your writing?
My writing?
Yes, I'm going to ask you about your writing. How do you structure your writing into your life? How do you fit it in? How many hours a day are you writing? How do you do it?
there's no routine for writing. I mean, it took me 2 years to finish my novel, and then I had to edit it and to repeat the editing again, because I felt like I don't want it to make it personal. I wanted to make it more human in relation to other people's stories related to mine. So I didn't have a routine, but mainly I used to write early morning before anybody wake up. I felt very peaceful and nice. So. Okay, we're gonna ask Mr. Nasser Dahiri how he writes, what's his routine, and how he.
Yes, I'm always interested in how writers fit it into life.
ما عندي طقوس معينة، يعني أصر كل ما أكتب أن أعملها، ولكن الورق المخطط لا يعجبني. أحب الورق، ممكن الورق العادي، ممكن ورقة كلينكس أكتب عليها فكرة. لا ليس لدي مكان مخصص. أحب المقاهي في العالم كله، لكن ممكن أكتب وأنا في سيارة، أقف يعني على جانب الطريق وأكتب وواضع الورقة على ركبتي. هذا مثلا. أحيانا للعمل الروائي أو القصصي أو كذا ربما أستحم، مثل استحمام الصباح، وأتعطر، ربما ألبس ثياب كاملة لكي أكتب، ولكن هذا ليس شرطا أساسيا يعني في الكتابة. لا يهمني الضجيج، ممكن أكتب وسط الضجيج. أجمل الأشياء التي أعتقد أني كتبتها في وضع جميل هي رؤية بيوت البحر الأبيض المتوسط البيضاء بأبوابها ونوافذها الزرقاء، وأمامك مد كبير من البحر الأزرق. شكرا.
أستاذ ناصر، يعني تحتفل للكتابة، تتهيأ وكأنك تذهب إليها معطرا مستحما جميلا، كأنك تقابل امرأة، كأنه موعد لقاء يعني. هيك الصورة اللي رسمها يعني. أوكي. في معنا ضيفة، بتحبي أن
There is one here, I think.
You are also a writer, you said. تعرفينا بنفسك؟
مساء الخير. اسمي لهيب عبد الخالق. أنا شاعرة وكاتبة سياسية وإعلامية عراقية مقيمة في الإمارات من 20 سنة. أصدرت وأنا في الإمارات 4 كتب. لي كتابين صادرين في العراق كانوا مجموعتين شعرية. عندي 4 مجاميع شعرية، آخرهم صدر أمس وعن الأهلية في الأردن. وعندي كتابين سياسية بين انهيارين، الاستراتيجية الأمريكية الجديدة وسوسيولوجيا الدم، هي مجموعة دراسات ومقالات نشرت بين جريدة البيان وجريدة الاتحاد. مثل ما قلت 20 سنة من عمري الأدبي والصحفي في الإمارات. أنا صحفية وكاتبة من جيل الثمانينات، الجيل الأول الثمانينات من العراق. جيت الإمارات سنة 99.
ما هي طقوس الكتابة لديك؟
شوفي، أنت لازم تفصلين بين 3 لهيب. لهيب الشاعرة، لهيب الكاتبة السياسية، ولهيب الصحفية. أنا بدأت شاعرة ودخلت من باب الشعر لعالم الصحافة، وتخصصت في الصحافة السياسية والأخبار الدولية. الصحافة السياسية علمتني كيف أن أنتقي الكلمة، لأنه في عالم السياسة وعالم الأخبار الكلمة قد تشعل حرب، وقد تخرب علاقات دولية، وقد تؤذي صاحبها. فكانت هذا الحذر علمني أيضا، أعطاني يعني مثل ما تقولين خبرة قوية جدا في اختصار العبارة الشعرية. لذلك تشوفين شعري مشذب على طول، يعني كانوا يقولوا أنه لغة عالية رفيعة، الصحافة علمتني الشعر منحني اللغة الجميلة في الكتابة والسياسة علمتني كيف أشذب يعني
تأخذ الأهم. أيوة.
بالنسبة للكتابة السياسية أنا عالمي اليومي هو الصحافي والأخبار، فليس صعبا يعني هو صعب أنك تجمعي المعلومة وتحلليها وتشتغليها صعب، لكن في الشعر وفي الأدب الطقوس مختلفة. أنا إذا جتني فكرة قد أضعها على ورقة وأنا أكتب يعني، لكن حتى أكمل القصيدة يجب أن أنعزل، ومعظم شعر يعني أجمل قصائدي كتبتها على سيمفونية تشايكوفسكي بحيرة البجع. أنا يعني ولدت وأنا أسمعها يعني، كان بابا الله يرحمه يسمعها، فأجمل قصائدي كتبت على بحيرة البجع. أحب الانعزال وأحب أول ما أخلص أسمعها إلى أقرب صديق إنه شوف هاي القصيدة جميلة ولا لا،
حتى تاخذي رأي. أسمع.
نحن أنا دائما كتاباتنا في الملتقى دائما إعداد يعني، يعني دائما أتابعكم شو كتبتوا، أعطوني متابعة أكثر ما هو إعداد وتغيير أفكار. عجبني مرحبا فيك أستاذ ناصر، دائما دخلتك علينا لها بهجة وفرح ما تتصور يعني، لأنك لك فضل علينا يعني. أول واحد اعترف بوجودنا وكتب في العمود حضرتك يعني، ودائما هاي احنا حاملين وسام على صدرنا. تعجبني انك ما تحب تكتب بالخطوط، الظاهر ما تحب حد يحدك حدود، وهذا يمكن الخط يحدك يعني، دائما تحب تكون طائر ما في شيء حدود، والخط تعتبره يمكن يمسك حدودك. الحين كشفناك الحين اليوم، عرفنا سر من اسرارك. مرحبا فيك دائما، ودائما منور المكان.
Any questions? دكتورة هنا.
شكرا. عندي هذا. مساء الخير. كيف أكتب؟ أنا ترجمت أكثر مما كتبت يعني، ترجمت الأدب، ترجمت الرواية من اللغة الفرنسية إلى العربية، ترجمت كتب لرحالة مهمين في الشرق الأوسط، ترجمت في الفلسفة وفي علم الاجتماع. فكل ترجمة يحتاجينها يعني الترجمات اللي ما بها خيال، مثلا من روايات علم الاجتماع أو الفلسفة أكثر يحتاج تركيز، بس مثلا إذا هو يكون خطاب ما بي يعني خيال هواية ممكن أترجم في أي مكان، بس الكتب اللي تحتاج تركيز، الروايات اللي فيها خيال أحتاج أيضا إلى العزلة وأن أكون وحدي، وأيضا يعني ربما على موسيقى الباروك بالنسبة لي كثير تنطيني إلهام. أما الكتابة فأحتاج إلى الهدوء أكيد، ما أقدر أكتب بالزحمة بعكس الأستاذ ناصري. أي وشكرا.
Brandy, what do you feel? You have the same rituals like Mr. Nasser, Dr. Hana, Asma.
I also like writing in coffee shops. I like seeing people when I'm writing. Because writing is quite a solitary pursuit. Do you know what I mean? It's you and it's your head, exactly. And so if I sat in a house doing it all the time, I'd probably go a little bit crazy. So I like being out amongst the world, and I'm also very good at, if there's bustle, if there's noise, it's not a problem, because I'm in my own little thing. I like very faint lines. So not the dark lines. I'm so fussy about notebooks. I open them up first. I take the plastic off so I can see the lines secretly, so the bookseller can't see me. Yeah, because it has to be the right light. Moleskin I find is very good because they're not too dark, but it's just light. So otherwise it really bothers me.
I would like to thank you for being with us today, this afternoon. It was a pleasure having an idea about Not Too Bad People, and we'll definitely buy it and read it. And
I love the fact that we have written a similar book, but about two different cultures.
Human beings are the same. They think similarly, and we all have nostalgia to our countries.
Yes.
So good to have you in Multaqā, and hope to see you again.
It's been really lovely. It's been such an interesting experience. Thank you. Thank you.